All right. Scott Stefano first across the line tonight. Steve Broyles, what's up from Detroit? Bruno Capola, good to see you guys here. Derek Webster in the house. Jimmy Bradley from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. David Bird, Ken, Ohio with us. Jason Hallman from Lakeland, Florida. Scott Stefano, Jersey in the house. Don Gilmore, Chase Rider number 22 from Pittsburgh. Good to see all you guys. This is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your engineer tonight on the Motorcycle Cannonball Chronicles. Great to see you guys pulling in. The guys are getting ready to fire up a killer show for you. We're going live in just 3.5 minutes. That's enough time for you guys to help us get this program out further and further all the time. Go to the like and share button. Make sure you set your alerts so when we go live, you know. Stick around 3 minutes till we're live with the Motorcycle Cannonball Chronicles. Marty Zavaco's Dayton, Ohio. That's where my boys from Lead Sled are out that way. Mozi Jr., Winston-Salem. Mike Draco, Cincinnati representing. Brian Pelletieri, Swansea, Mass. Tim Burns, rider number 105, watching from Oregon. One man outside feeding the mosquitoes. Good to see you here, one man. Just 2.5 minutes. We're going live with a great show. Make sure you hit that like and share. Right on, Lead Sled, 2.5 miles from you. That's awesome. I'd be over there all the time. Dusty Dollar, burning up in Arkansas. What's up? Nate Deadwood, also Cincinnati. Walter Bednarski, New Jersey in the house. Randall Ray, hello from Maine. So listen, you guys got to help me out tonight and get active with the show. You know, you don't have to just sit there and watch. You can throw up your questions, comments, concerns, wherever you're watching this from, and it'll come into the show's chat feed, and we'll get some answers for you. But what you can help me out with is Rob Nussbaum, co-host of this show, said that if we hit 100 comments in the first 10 minutes of the show, he's going to buy everybody a round of official New Jersey pork roll. Everyone's getting pork roll, egg, and cheese if we hit 100 comments in 10 minutes. And I ain't lying. 1 minute to go. Ron Moon, Warsaw, Virginia. Awesome. Derek Webster, Ontario, Canada. Paul Lagomorosino. I hope I said that right. North Mississippi. Taylor Ham. No, I didn't mean Taylor Ham, damn it. Pork roll. All right. Bunny Hollington. I don't understand that language, but welcome. Welcome to the show. Bubby Clark, Southern California. Wow, man, the show is piling up. You guys are killing. We're getting that pork roll. We're getting it. Keith Cardell, rider number 99. Kerry Rogers, amen, brother.
Can I get an amen?
All right, 14 seconds left. That means it's time to get this one out of the shed and up on the road. Let's go live with tonight's installment of the Motorcycle Cannonball Chronicles. Here we go.
Well, hey there, Cannonball, Chase, and Antique Motorcycle Junkies. You know what day it is. It is Hump Day Wednesday. That's right. Another episode here, Cannonball Chronicles. We have just a killer show for you guys tonight. We have the three guys that got kind of one of the trip of a lifetime here on the Chase. It's going to be happening here in a few weeks in the Ozarks. So it'll be fun to sit down with these guys and see how excited they are and what kind of preparation they're doing and what they expect, I guess. So it's going to be a good one. It's definitely going to be a good one. So let's I got a few things I want to go over, but first let's bring in Mr. Rob Nussbaum and see what he's up to.
Howdy. How's things going with the Chase and Jason?
Oh, dude, it is coming together. Awesome.
Tell me about it. What do you got going?
Hey, you know what? So we have a bunch of great new merchandise that came in this week. And just here in a few minutes, we'll go over that. There's a few shout outs that I want to give to some people. I want to show you some of these great products that rolled in the door yesterday and today that are going out to the people that ordered them over here the last few weeks. One of the biggest things that I've been doing is I have been printing some road maps for this year's Chase. I've actually got mine loaded here in my route box right here. This is where all the secrets are, baby. So anyway, I am leaving this Saturday. I am heading to Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I will be doing the run right here before the run. Just checking everything out, making sure everything's good to go. All the roads are open, and everything that we have planned is good to go. So we are super excited that, we'll be doing that. So I'll shoot some updates while I'm on the road. Be watching our social media out there, and maybe you'll get some hints on where we may be.
Sounds cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It'll be way cool.
Good to be back on the road, right?
So, yeah, for sure. So next week I'll be on the road. So when we do the show next week, I'll be from probably one of our secret locations.
You going to give any hints as to where you'll be while you're there?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's been so tough on me not to say anything to anybody.
Leanne's got a gun on you, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be hard to stay off social media too and be like, oh, dude, check this place out. This place is fucking killer.
Yeah.
So it'll be tough. But, maybe I'll throw you guys off a little bit too. Who knows?
Well, that sounds sounds interesting.
It sure will be. So guess what? Next Tuesday, I will be back in Cape Girardeau the night before the next show, and I will be with the Great Race. So the Great Race is a lot like the motorcycle Cannonball, just involves cars. So they'll be in Cape Girardeau next Tuesday. So if you're in that area, make sure you check it out. Come say hi if you see me there.
Cool. We had some pretty neat stuff going on here this week. I finally got the front door installed for my shop, so people don't have to come through the garage anymore, which some of them like, actually. But finally, it only took 7.5 months, but hey, who's counting, right?
Right.
So
you don't need no stinking front door.
Yeah, right. And then
the door is always open.
The door is always open. So, and I noticed I've been tracking the response to the advertising on this show and on Shop Talk and the other social media programs, and the phones have been ringing as a result. So the sponsorship actually pays off to sponsor on this show. And I have actually a couple of our, regular watchers have been calling, and it's great, man. It's really great to see some positive response out of this stuff. I went back and tracked it a few months, and it's been really coming in. So I'd encourage anybody who has an interest in doing some kind of advertising to take a look at some of the information we have on hand for this show and the other shows.
Heck yeah. So, hey, I want to. This show is going to probably go really long tonight because we have 3 wonderful guests. I want to just give a shout out to one of my favorite vendors right here, Oxford Pennant, out of Buffalo, New York. We've been working with this company for quite a long time. They make some of the most wonderful products for us. And we just got a huge shipment from them today. Some products here for, for the motorcycle Cannonball and the cross country chase. So I want to show a few of them. I know a few of you guys out there have actually ordered some of this stuff over the last few weeks. It will all go out tomorrow. And I'm sure you guys will be excited to see what comes in the mail. This stuff is super high quality. It is all made in America, made by Americans. Every single part of it, the material to the printing to the sewing, all done in Buffalo, New York. So that's why we kind of use companies like this. We're trying to throw everything back and keep it local and to support small businesses. So anyway, a few of these things that you see behind me here, some of the what we call a camp flag or banner, they turned out really, really cool. They look better in person than the proofs had. So a lot of this stuff that we're showing you tonight is very, very limited quantities. We wanted to make everything kind of a little bit more collectible, so we're not printing thousands or even hundreds. It's small quantities on a lot of this stuff to keep it a little bit exclusive and a little bit more collectible. So if you see it on the website, don't wait.
Jason.
Get it up. Yeah, go ahead.
RTW Doug, round the world buddy, Mr. Wathke.
Yeah.
Says pre-ride the route. How can you act surprised when you go down a dirt road if you pre-ride it? And I have a personal shout out tonight to Steve Broyles. Steve, how you doing, buddy? That's it.
Heck yeah. So let me show you some of these products, and then we'll get back into our guests. Like I said, we have a good show for you guys tonight, and just want to show you a few of these things. Like you said, you can find them online, limited quantities, suck them up. Otherwise, you might miss out. So first thing, we got this killer motorcycle Cannonball pennant. I love this one. I love red. We got a blue one. This thing turned out pretty killer. I love that too. For all you guys that are black and white, I even included you in it. Now this thing is something cool. So I wanted to, everybody does these like plastic banners and, vinyl banners. I really wanted to start doing something different. Something that was a little more collectible, maybe something that they would do back in the day, because I don't really think they had PVC or vinyl back in the 20s and 30s. So just trying to stick to this kind of period correct stuff. I started doing these camp flags, which are pretty cool. Hang them up on your wall. We got a few different versions of these things. They turned out really, really cool. It's great quality stuff. I mean, when you work with small businesses, they get it done right for you. Hey, two more things.
Support your small businesses.
Absolutely. And buy an American made when you can. So here's another thing that came in tonight, which was super cool. We've been waiting on these things for like 6 months. They were supposed to be back here in January. Finally showed up on my door today. The ever anticipated cross-country chase race jersey. These things turned out killer. I've been working on this design for almost over a year. I went out and sourced this material, came up with kind of my own cut, own links, own things, so they fit our guys. These things are made for riders, and you'll be happy with them. They are great. Three last things. We got these really great American made, American printed t-shirts, Secret of the Ozarks. These are for sale online. We will actually have them in Cape Girardeau when we start and end there. And if you happen to see us on the road, we may have a few things for you too. We'll carry some of this stuff along with us. So short sleeves and long sleeves, they turned out great. This is one of my favorite ones. Like I said, I love red, so this thing turned out killer. So anyway, that's a plug for all the new stuff that we've gotten here recently. And like I said, a lot of the stuff's limited quantities. Get on both of our stores on both motorcyclecannonball.com or the motorcyclechase.com. And you can check out everything that's happening with the event and purchase some of this great merchandise. So with that, what's next?
Well, let's take a break, support the sponsors, and then get into it with our guests. How's that sound?
You bet. Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm with Banks Brothers Motorcycles. One of the things I want to show you today is our new improved engine puller.
The changes to this machine has been in the arms and in the hands. We put hind joints in the hand to allow rotation of the engine, which makes it easier to get it in and out of the frame. With the angle change, we have equal clamping pressure on them. And over here we have what's called the posi lock, which allows this to be locked in place and the engine can't swing from side to side.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is to pull the motor out of the bike right now. George is actually going to come in, make contact with the cylinders, tighten it down, he's going to pull it out of there.
You'll lift it up, rotate it, and bring the assembly out of the frame. You see the motor starting to move and it centers itself. This allows no side play once the motor's in place, and it keeps it safe, it can't fall out.
Visit BanksBrothersMotorcycles.com to order your Banks lift.
My name is Ray Yanis. I'm from Ormond Beach, Florida. Got into motorcycling, at a very early age, like every young guy does with mini bikes, go-karts, that kind of stuff. I got a frame for a mini bike. I strapped that thing. It had no brakes. All my shoes had holes. And I grew up with Warren and Billy Lane. When I moved from New Jersey, I moved to Miami. Billy's a little bit younger than Warren and I. They've been cool since day one, man. I can't lie. My parents, they came from Cuba. My dad moved to New York City in 1959, right when Castro took over. I joined the Navy 1986, and my chief had a Harley-Davidson there, and he had an old FLH, and he would ride this thing in his uniform every day. Had a 67 Sportster with a Magneto. Don't recommend it. My first Harley was 1989. I've never been without a Harley since. I retired Miami, I was in law enforcement there for 23 years. Now this is what I enjoy. It's kind of like a Ripley's Believe It or Not, like everything's shrunk down. Small lathe, small drill press. When it's cold as hell out here, and it's, you get condensation and stuff. I don't have much wall space, but I have a little bit of everything that's important to me. After a long day, come in here and this is my happy place. I'm grateful. I thank God every day. You don't have to be the best fabricator. You don't have to be the best designer. You don't have to be the best mechanic. You don't have to be the best welder. You don't have to be the best anything. Just make sure that what you do, that you're going to be proud of it when you're done, that you don't take shortcuts, and that it's done the right way. I'm Ray Yanis from Ormond Beach, Florida, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Amen. Amen. to that.
Can I get an amen?
There we go. The Banks lift has been, I've just been recently using it. What a great product. And they've been good friends to the show, these guys. I can't say enough about Banks Gas Services and those guys. They've stepped up big time for us. So shout out to Tom and George and everybody involved with Banks Gas.
Absolutely. Hey, so let's get into this. Before we kind of get into it, let's do a little bit of backstory of why we have these guys on tonight.
Why do we have these guys on tonight?
So it really started probably, I don't know, a couple months ago. A guy by name of Alex Trepanier put a post out on social media and said, hey, you know what? I can't do the chase, but I have this beautiful 1946 Indian that if somebody wants to ride it, hey, it's theirs for the taking. It really kind of went viral from there. Like, oh man, I can't believe you're doing this. And what a great gesture. That sparked, another one of our great guys that we've had on the show, a fellow rider, cannonballer, Chris Tribbey. And he pledged that, you know what, hey, I will donate $100 to, the entry fee of whoever gets this bike. So from there, it really just snowballed. And that one post, I think, they ended up getting 20 or 30 different people that pledged different denominations of money and, people that really wanted to get on board with something like this. And from there, they decided like, hey, this person that we're going to select will get one paid admission to this whole entire event, from expenses to get there, the bike is donated, we're going to outfit this person. From there, it kind of just really led into these guys kind of really putting a contest together of trying to get these younger people involved. And they went out and searched for some people. Some people got nominated, and some of these kids that did it, I kind of forgot where I was going there, but anyway, they ended up having to do some essays and some pictures, and tell them why that they were deserving enough to get this free motorcycle. So they ended up selecting one person. We brought that whole thing on the show. We actually announced it right here live on Cannonball Chronicles. Our first guest, it will be Jake Smallwood, got selected for that. While we were on the show, we were messaging back and forth with Chris and Alex, and they said, you know what, hey, we have enough money here that we would like to select one more person. And Chris decided that he would donate his bike that night. And that night we ended up selecting one more person. This thing was really just kind of snowballing out effect. And the next thing you know, we had enough money to do a third person and had a third motorcycle donated. So anyway, that's our three guests tonight. We're bringing on these three guys that got selected for kind of a trip of a lifetime, a free motorcycle, all expense paid trip to the 2021 cross country chase, Secrets of the Ozark, that starts here in 2 weeks. So we got our three guests here. We have Max, Connor, and Jake. We're going to get a chance to talk to all these guys here. Real quick, I just want everybody to say hi. Let's start with Jake. Say what's up.
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
Very good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh,
hey,
yeah, no
Connor, what's happening?
Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm from San Diego and enjoying the beautiful weather right now. Hope everybody else has some nice weather.
Cool. Heck yeah. Hey, Max, what's happening?
How's it going? Joining you guys from Moto Guzzi's factory.
Nice.
nice. Hey, we're excited to have all three of you guys on tonight. Let's start with Jake, since Jake was kind of the first guy that was selected for this trip of a lifetime. Really, let's just start out, Jake, of how did you actually hear about this contest and what got motivated to enter it?
Yeah, so actually I was just I forget what I was doing. I might have actually been working on my bike, and I heard through a family friend that there was a post on Facebook, Alex's post, and they were just, they were messaging me. They're like, hey, they're blowing up my phone, messaging me, messaging my dad. Hey, there's this crazy thing going on, whatever. And meanwhile, my dad's like, hey, have you checked your phone? And I'm like, no, what's going on? And then, I started hearing about it, and it was just something kind of familiar, because my dad had actually been planning on doing it himself, but due to the money and stuff, wasn't working out. And me being a broke college kid, never thought about it. So once I heard that this was going on, of course, I was like, I got to jump in. There's no way I could miss out on it,
Heck yeah. So you just mentioned a second ago that you were actually working on your bike. Sounds like you're no stranger to antique motorcycles the way it is. Sounds like you kind of grew up with it.
Yeah. I mean, I got pretty lucky. My dad, he's a hoarder, you could say. It's hard to get rid of those old parts. You'll always use them for something down the line, right? So, yeah, right. I mean, I got lucky with him being into them, and we built, the first bike I rode, flathead, and actually that broke down one day, and I rode his panhead home, and after I jumped on that panhead, I couldn't go down, I couldn't go back. So
right.
We've just been kind of building bikes and going on rides. I've been in a sidecar my whole life, so yeah, there was really no escaping that.
Right. Do you remember back in the day when you actually took your first motorcycle ride?
Yeah, so the first time I rode really, on my own was I had actually gotten my permit. And that same day we left for South Dakota. And so either, the end of that day or the next day, I was riding through the Black Hills. I mean, that was my first experience on it was the 48 flathead, I believe.
Oh, nice. So how about being obviously you said your dad was a hoarder your whole life, so he probably had motorcycles. Do you remember the first time, whether it be a mini bike or a scooter, kind of what your first experience was with a motorcycle? Yeah,
definitely. Actually, kind of the same as earlier. What you're saying is, it was like a mini bike, but it was a Cushman. We have a family friend. We used to go out to Wasion, and I'd have a bicycle and stuff. And I was getting to an age where I saw the Cushman, and they were like, well, you want to try it? And I tried it out, and it was awesome. I was riding the thing up and down through the grass. I wasn't allowed to go on the road yet, but yeah, just kind of messing around on the small stuff. Just little things. We had Sears bikes, those small little Sears bikes, and I had buddies with little mini bikes. Yeah, I mean, I kind of could attest to that. Really, that's where the basic layout started.
Oh, nice. Let's fast forward a little bit. Have you ever, well, I guess you did say that you went to South Dakota on an old bike. Have you ever had any other experiences? I think I remember you being on the Pandemonium ride. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we were on that ride, and that was 2018, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just you're a young guy now, but back then, 18, what were you?
Yeah.
You were even younger.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of like a present. That was my graduation. I had just graduated high school, a month or two before that, in that May. And yeah, that was really the first ride of, I guess, my young adult life, you could say. And what a ride to kick it off. That really put, that really birthed the seed It was amazing. Since then it's kind of like every summer I'm trying to do something.
Right. Yeah, it's cool. That was actually a really good event. I didn't particularly get to ride on it. I was there right for the start of it, and then I met her, seeing everybody come into Wasion, and that was a pretty spectacular ride, and I'm sure that was something to remember.
Oh yeah, no, it really was. I mean, it's crazy. You don't see a lot of old bikes on the road as it is. Usually if you're on an old bike on the road, you're getting looks. You might see one person every once in a while, but I mean, to have that many panheads just in lines, it was unbelievable. It was crazy. It was an awesome sight.
Right. Heck yeah. Let's move forward to finding out that you were actually the first person selected for this kind of ultimate giveaway for the chase. Let's talk about kind of your feelings about it.
Yeah, so I actually do remember that night. I was watching with you guys. I was in the comment section a little bit, but it was crazy. I had heard that there was quite a bit of other people that had also tried out for it. And, I imagine there had to be with how great the opportunity was. So it was just kind of sitting there, it was like a nail biting thing. I was kind of sitting there waiting, and, you pick up on your own name. And I had a little bit of delay with the stuff. So as soon as the video kind of went out and I heard the name, it was like, did they say my name like I just won or what, but it was really cool. I mean, it was awesome. I was getting, my parents were calling me because I'm out in Iowa right now, actually at school. But parents were calling me, and it was a thrill. It's like when you're a little kid and your parents, they tell you, hey, we're going on vacation. It's like, oh hell yeah, and I can't wait. But
so
heck yeah.
Jake, Karen Andrea just piped in. She said she met you on the Pandemonium, and she said you rode the crap out of that bike. Such a great young man. Do you? I don't know if you saw Karen Andrea was on last night on Coast to Coast. Great guest, and she rides all over the country. She's very impressed with your riding. What were your thoughts leading up to the Pandemonium about any anticipation of any problems or anything like that? And what'd you do to prepare? Because you'll probably do a similar thing for the chase.
Yeah. I mean, with it really being my first big kind of like group ride, I was kind of I didn't know too much. It was kind of just listening to whatever my dad thought. But then, I was also 18. So it was, the deal we kind of had was you do your own thing, you pack your own stuff, you get yourself ready, and you make sure you're ready by the time we need to leave, and we'll get together and we'll leave. And that's what we did. We did a little bit on the bikes beforehand. My bike was actually just being finished before that ride because we had created it for the ride. So just fine tweaking things, you grabbing a handful of wrenches, going around, tightening up all the nuts and bolts, just giving everything a little one over and really crossing my fingers. My dad and I believe we make a great team. So there wasn't too much worry for it on my end, but just kind of leaving things up to chance and looking forward, with a positive outlook on it. But as far as packing stuff went,
Jake, is it going to be you and your dad on the chase?
Yeah. So something like I said before, me and my dad, it's a tradition. Every summer we try to do something together. And obviously with how busy this summer is, this might be the only opportunity we had. So he said, to hell with it. It's worth it. I'll do what I can to afford it. And we're actually both going to have the opportunity to go on the ride together. And, I couldn't be more happy. It would have been cool. I was talking about it, this would be my first ride alone kind of thing. But, like I said, I'm really glad that we can continue that tradition of, a father-son thing. And, he's my buddy. We ride next to each other. That's our thing. We ride like 2 feet apart and, wheel to wheel. So
cool.
I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah, that's great.
So tell us about this 45 that you're going to ride that Chris Tribbey has graciously donated to the effort. Have you ridden it yet?
Yeah. So actually, with that bike, it's his beautiful flathead. He's really fine-tuned that thing. And obviously, if you know Chris, he's a great mechanic. He really maintains his stuff. I got no worries about that bike. If he says it's good, I believe it's good. I'm pretty familiar with the flatheads, so I'd be all right anyway. I'm sure I won't even have to touch the thing, but I'm actually going out there, me and my father, for Father's Day weekend. We're going to take a ride out by Chris just to, really just to meet the bike again and kind of ride it around and, just get familiar with it, get on it, get the weight right, get the, just get the feel for it, kind of become one with it before this ride gets going.
And you're good with
yeah.
the tank shifting and the foot clutch and all that stuff? You're used to that?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's all I know. That's what I learned on. I actually had more trouble with a hand clutch.
And my notes here say that you guys are very opposed to paying anybody to do any work on your stuff. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, partially that's just because, my dad's really one of those, he's one of those old time bikers, and the other part of it is we're a working class family. We don't have money to just be throwing it around.
Can I get a name,
when time gets
man?
tough, you gotta, there's a picture on the screen there. I'm wearing overalls, changing a tire. That tool there is, it's something that we built. And, if we didn't have the tool, you either make it or it's going to stay broken. It's kind of a process of elimination, kind of problem solving. And, chrome, it's kind of like that saying, chrome don't get you home. You can't pay somebody to come fix your bike when you're sitting on the side of a road, in the middle of the night. Right. So.
Absolutely.
That is a fact. That's a fact. So, hey, so being a college kid, have you put much thought or any worry into, or what's your thoughts about the quiz?
Yeah, so that is one thing I
grasp on some early American history and geography. Actually,
I'm out here at a trade school, so I was doing a lot of welding out here. But I'm going to try my best to I'm going to give it I guess you could say I'm going to give it the college try to kind of study up on some of that stuff and really hold on to as much as I can for that quiz and that informational stuff.
There you go. How about the competition between your dad? Do you see that there may be a friendly competition going on between you two while you're riding?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be, where there's always little, just being two guys, and at the age I am now, it's like we're friends as well. So I'm sure there's going to be, there's always a little bit of sport in between it. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of stuff with the extra points. We get, as far as it goes, there's points for videos and pictures and knowledge. So it might be a little bit of secrecy between us, hey, do you know this? Like those like dad jokes. I might be like, hey, do you know what this is? And him like, yeah, I do. What do you? So I'm sure there's gonna be a little bit of sport there, but
or you can feed him wrong answers.
Oh yeah,
that's what
I'm sure he's gonna be doing that. He's retired now, so he's got all the time in the world.
Hey, one last thing before we start moving on to our next guest here. What are you doing to get prepared, if anything?
Yeah, so like I said, really we're kicking everything off this weekend. That's kind of like my start to finish, getting the bike. And I've gone on some longer trips. I've usually packed way too much, and with something like this where I'm going to be on the bike this long, really just kind of minimizing everything down. Just I'll probably, here on live in front of everybody, honestly, I'll probably end up wearing the same clothes most of the ride. I mean, that's just the easiest way to do it. I don't really care. And just kind of just getting used to that bike. Other than that, getting all my thing, the odometer, the map, fire extinguisher, stuff like that. That's all I got to do.
So that's a warning for everybody, right? Don't get too close to Jake.
Yeah. Make sure you don't stand too close.
It's funny that you were just talking about that, because I was just writing an article today for the event program that we're doing for this event about how to pack and what I do to pack and about wearing clothes, and it's okay to wear the same clothes sometimes. So, you know what? If you turn it around, it's clean on the other side.
Well, that's going to be a whole new twist to social distancing.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You turn it around and you can turn it inside out. Do it again.
There you go.
Cool. Well, hey, Jake, it was great. Hang out with us for a few minutes here while we move on to some of these other guys, and then we'll circle back around and get us all involved here and have a little bit of sport to it. So, Rob, let's move on to our next guy, Connor. I got the privilege of meeting Connor for the first time. We've been social media friends for a little bit, but I actually got to meet him here in person about 2 weeks ago in Kanab, Utah, at a great road run that the Phoenix chapter AMCA put on, and got to see him and his new bike. We actually had him on somewhat on the show here last week or the week before. Got to talk to him for a few minutes. So let's catch up with him here real quick. Rob, why don't you start us out?
Sure. So you were actually the winner of Chris Tribbey's ride originally. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us what happened there.
So it kind of worked out really well that I am very close geographically to Alex Trepanier, who had the 1945 Chief that I've been riding. And Jake was actually closer to Chris Tribbey, so it kind of worked out rather than having to put some money towards shipping from the fund that could go towards us and future riders. They were able to swap it too, and I wound up with an Indian, which I love Indians, and Jake wound up with a Harley, and he loves Harleys, so it's perfect.
It's
kind of weird how it worked out that way.
Hey, I just also want to mention to the people, so were you guys watching the night that it was announced and that you guys were winners? And then they started talking about donations. Were you guys watching that night?
I was actually in my garage working on bikes, and I got my phone would kept getting blown up saying, "Hey, go listen." And I tuned in, and I backed it up a little bit, listened to all the good stuff.
So, yeah, we've been giving a big shout out to the guys, and rightfully so, who donated the bikes. But I also want to give a shout out to our viewers who participated in contributing that night. It was like a telethon that we never even promoted. And I think the donations blew up pretty good that night. So I just personally want to give a little shout out to all of you folks who are watching tonight who may have donated. I want to thank you all for doing that. That was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's the experience now that you've had a chance to ride this bike a little bit? Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the bike and possibly things that now need to be done now that you've ridden it a little bit.
So I'm used to riding a little Scout 741. That's my personal first antique. And riding this bike, it's a lot bigger. It's almost 3 times the displacement. So the 1945 Chief is just a ton of fun. Lots of power, it'll hit highway speeds, no problem. So I've been riding it as much as I can. Alex and I were lucky enough that one of somebody that decided to sponsor us, Kiwi Mike, Kiwi Indian. We took the bike up to him and we went through everything we could think of, checking things over, replacing little things that have been worn out since Alex has been riding it since he redid it a few years ago, and just making sure it's 100%. So we're very confident. We did the whole Kanab ride and had no problems besides a flat tire, which was from a pinched tube. We were able to patch that on the side of the road. So the guys thankfully taught me how to do that, and we're ready for the chase.
Yeah, I actually got some pretty good training at the road run there in Kanab by really kind of witnessing firsthand of some of the repairs that you might have to come up on, which one is probably one of the most common ones is a flat tire.
Yeah, absolutely. And the day we got there, I think it was probably the change in the heat and stuff like that, but we had adjusted the valves at Kiwi Mike's shop, and we didn't have a chance to check them again after I ran it for a little bit. And one of them had loosened up to have no adjustment at all, and one of them loosened up to have all the adjustment possible. So the night before we really got on the ride going up to Bryce Canyon, Alex and I took a look at them and adjusting them properly. Kiwi Mike showed up and said, "Hey, we probably should check these before again." And I said, "Yeah, that was my fault." So I learned a lesson there and got a little more experience of adjusting the valves and timing the motor again and all the good stuff.
Okay, so I'm looking at something that's pretty unique on that bike. And Chris, if there's a possibility of pulling up a picture of the bike, the side shot of that'd be great. But some of our viewers, I would say probably most of them know, but to explain to us how this front end works, because it's a little unique. So can you tell us a little bit about the workings of that front end on that Indian?
Absolutely. So this is a front end that was used all the way until 1945 with different variations on Indian Chiefs and certain Scouts. And this is basically a leaf spring, the same one you'd see in a truck, except cut in half. So it rocks in a different way rather than a girder, which goes out forwards and backwards, and a springer, which goes out up and down. This works in a little bit different way, where most of the rotation is in the rockers, and there's not a ton of bend in the springs themselves, but just enough to keep you going straight down the road and make it nice and comfortable.
Now, I've talked to some people. They say that's probably one of the superior front ends that Indian ever made. What are your experiences with the ride, with the way it rides?
I agree. I'm 210 pounds, and it's a lot more stiff than my little Scout, which I absolutely love. A little more rideable, and it looks great too, of course.
Yeah, it is unique looking. That's for sure.
I bet you'll never go back to that 741 now.
Oh, I rode it a couple times, and I said I thought there was something wrong. It was so slow.
Right. Hey, let's talk about how you really got started in motorcycles. I was reading here a little bit that you were actually a pretty young age when you got involved. Let's elaborate on that just a small bit.
Yeah, I really, really got deep into motorcycles when I was 18, 19. My friend gave me a ride on his old Kawasaki Vulcan, gave me a ride on the back, and I had so much fun that I had to buy the bike from him. I said he wanted to move up to a touring Harley, so I ended up buying his bike. When I moved out to California in 2017, I decided I want to get my first antique, so I found a Scout after looking at Harley 45s for a long time. Being from Massachusetts, I loved Indians, and I still do, as you can see by the jersey from one of my sponsors.
That's great.
I love Scouts, and Scout is what I could afford. I can only really afford things that had an issue and I could fix. So I found this little Scout. It turns out it only needed a flip bowl and some adjustments on the carburetor. It had the original Lincoln on there. It was a total bobber chopper, and I was lucky enough smart enough, we'll say, more like lucky enough, that I said, "Hey, do you have any extra pieces for this, Indian chopper?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I have all the extra pieces in the back there. You're welcome to take them." So he had all the original fenders and chain guard and everything for it. So I really lucked out on that one. I was able to restore it back to a civilianized version of 741. And since then, I've been kind of gone off the deep end. I'm at Long Beach Swap Meet every month and just trying to piece together as many bikes as I can. So my friends and my family always laugh, say I have more bikes that don't run than that do run. So,
well, listen, I want to be the one that says that was smart. Okay, that was very humble of you, but it was also humble of you to say that you didn't want to be the one to say it. So I'll say it. That was very smart.
Yeah, never heard.
So have you kind of turned this into a full-time job now? I mean, doing the swap meets and putting the bikes together and.
Yes and no. I was working a full-time job before, and due to COVID, I got laid off. So while I look for the next step, I've just been playing with old bikes and having much fun. So I was lucky enough to be granted this trip. So I'm, focusing on that and super excited.
And did you know Alex prior to this?
I met Alex at the Los Angeles chapter Fallbrook run. It was at last October, November, December, last fall. And we were the two youngest guys. I was 27. He was 32. We were the youngest guys there by about 20 years. So we instantly clicked off. We have a similar personality. We're both big jokesters. So we just got along. And, I saw Alex's post online, and I texted him and say, "Hey, what's the deal with this?" He told me everything, and I wrote my essay and applied.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, I remember
seeing both of you guys in Canab. I mean, it really seemed like you guys have knowing each other for 20 years. I mean, you guys are kind of two peas in a pod and joking around and, you know, almost like your brothers. You kind of look the same too.
It's kind of nice that Alex is paying forward. You remember when he came on the scene in 2016, Jason, and Doug Feinsod introduced us to him as Superstorm Alex?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and he really paved the way, and it's nice to see him pay forward on this to the younger guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
I'll just say, Jason,
Connor, what are you doing to get prepared? I know you've been working on the bike a little bit here and there, but are you doing anything mentally, physically, doing any studying for the quiz, trying to lose weight, eat more, drink more? What's going on with Connor?
So I actually found an online college class of Ozarks 101, and I've been watching that on YouTube, trying to, you know, sponge up as much as I can for this test. Todd Cameron actually told me there was a test. I didn't when we were in Cannabon, I didn't know that before, so I was like, oh no. And then we were going back and forth because I know that he won last chase. And I was bouncing, you know, Harley and Indian history off of him, and he didn't know a lot of those. And I said, well, what is this about? And he said, oh, you know, how many railroad tracks do you cross and stuff like that. And he said it's just a big mix of everything. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. Right. So I'm trying to prepare the best I can.
Really, it's one of those things that you really don't need to know a whole lot. You just need to pay attention a lot. You know, it's not one of these things that we're wanting you to open a book, because I'm not a book guy. It's just one of those things, like a lot of gee whiz information, and like I said, just paying attention while you're riding, and that's our goal on the whole entire thing.
Yeah, I heard a story where Todd Cameron was riding his bike down the road and took his hands off the handlebars, pulled out a piece of paper, and started writing things down.
Oh, dude, I witnessed it all the time. It was crazy. I was like, you know, he had like this little pocket protector thing and was down here writing notes. I mean, it was pretty crazy. I mean, he definitely took it serious, and you know, wanted to make sure that he did good.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He took his Velosat 500 out to Cannabon. He was keeping up with all the chiefs and everything, so that's pretty impressive.
Oh, that bike is way killer. I mean, I was way impressed with that thing. You know, how the thing could pull hills and how fast it could go, and pretty impressive. Making me want to get one of those little small dainty things. So, hey, all right, let's bring in our next guest. Last but not least, we have Max Lynch here coming in. Max was the last guy that kind of got selected on this thing, and maybe he could be the best guy because he was selected last. Anyway, let's bring him in and learn about him. Max, what's happening?
Nothing much. Hoping I am the best, maybe. That'd be cool.
Here we go. Well, I'll tell you this. Hold on a second, Jason. He's got the shirt for the pocket protector and the notepad.
Yeah, I do.
So, gentlemen, you other two guys, pay attention to what's going on here. He's already prepared.
Connor's jersey's awesome, but mine's practical.
Hey. Max,
hey, so let's start out about.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Robbie.
Tell us about what you'll be riding. Courtesy of Fred Wacker, I believe, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I'm going to be on a 1950 Moto Guzzi Falcone. It's a single-cylinder 500cc bike that they made for quite a few years. Right after, World War II, early 50s, all the way up until the 60s, I believe, when they switched to the classic V-twin that they continue to use now. And it was used a lot by police and military units. There I am with a friend of mine, the Guzzi doctor, Joe Walano.
Joe's a great guy.
Yeah. So I've been, I've been around Joe since high school when I started working there as an apprentice for a few years.
Wow.
And that bike has actually been in and out of the shop a lot. It was owned by another guy, Frank, who comes in and helps out Joe, and that participated in the the Cannonball in 2018 and 2016, I believe, too. It was actually his bike before he sold it to Fred. So weirdly enough, I had seen this bike over the past few years, and now I'm going to be riding it on the Chase.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
I had an experience of riding on the Kickstart Classic with Buzz Cantor was riding that very same bike. And I got to tell you, that thing's got a lot of kick ass in it.
It does. You know, it's people think it's a little Italian single, but it's not. Actually, that's next to my bike. I'm a Guzzi guy, so the fact that Connor's on an Indian, Jake's on a Harley, and I'm on a Guzzi, and we all ride those bikes outside of this is pretty neat. But yeah, so there's a bike there. It's a single, but I was keeping up with Harleys and newer Guzzis a few weeks ago when we went up to Wisconsin on a ride. I'm pretty impressed with that motorcycle, though. It just hums down the road. You'll do like 45, 50 all day long.
Super smooth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts like a charm.
Tell us about that big thing on the side of the bike.
Yeah, so I think I sent it in a picture. Should be there somewhere, but it's a flywheel. It's exposed on the side, whereas on a lot of other bikes, it's internal. The flywheel just sits on the outside and just kind of spins around the whole time that the bike is running. And it just looks pretty cool. People call it like a bacon slicer, bologna slicer, just because it looks like something you'd see in a deli to slice meat.
And tell us about this. Oh, there. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, that's it. I wanted to mount the number plates on there, but I couldn't figure out a good way.
Yeah, that's funny.
Pretty cool.
Tell us about that rear suspension too. That looks pretty unique.
Yeah, so it's nothing like a spring or anything that we see on lots of more modern bikes, or like Connor's bike. I think in the rear might have a spring. That's actually just a hand spring. You hand tighten it for looser or tighter suspension. I haven't had a fool with it. It's pretty dialed in, but it's pretty primitive and basic. Nothing much to it, which is great.
Is that a coil spring or just pressure?
I think
is a coil spring inside there.
I don't believe so. I think it's actually just pressure. It's just kind of plates inside.
Right.
Almost looks like a friction disc.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how it springs back.
I don't know. It looks pretty janky.
Maybe you can give us an update on that at some point.
I will. Yeah, I'll do some research, some testing on the road.
And then it's a telescopic fork, right?
Right up front, that's telescopic.
And how are the brakes?
Brakes are there to help slow you down. They're a suggestion for stopping.
Yeah, like any good drum brake, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the downshifting is kind of how you slow down. Brakes just help you out. But I've had a few experiences locking up disc brakes on old bikes, which isn't great. But I was telling somebody yesterday that it's impossible to lock up these brakes. They don't lock up. So I'm not going to have any issues along those lines.
Okay. Distance will be your friend then.
Yeah, exactly. Start slowing down here.
So Max, when did you first get into riding?
I've kind of always been around motorcycles. My dad's a Harley guy, and he's had Harleys since before I was born and much earlier than that even. So I had always, I've ridden on the back of his since I was pretty young. But like I said earlier, I started working at Joe Walano's shop in high school, I believe, right after I got my driver's license, actually, like 16 or 17. And from there, I kind of got involved in the world of more vintage and antique European bikes, which was pretty neat. I had not, I was a car guy before that. I enjoyed cars and racing and stuff along those lines, but got my feet wet working at the shop after, in the evenings after high school. And then when Fred decided to do the Cannonball in 2016, I was already working at Joe's shop. So I was kind of in that cool atmosphere when all that was going down with his 13 Indian, which is pretty neat. And then when I graduated high school, I bought my first bike. That's actually, that's a post I made on my social media. Actually, no, it isn't. It's similar though. Very similar picture.
So what was your first bike?
It was an 850T Moto Guzzi from 1975. There's actually a picture of it with the Falcone. And I got it from a buddy of mine, Tate Wacker, actually, Fred's son. He was going off and he wanted to sell a bike, and I got a great deal on it, and I've had it since. Actually, I had it before I had my motorcycle endorsement, and I dropped it in the DMV. I dropped it in my backyard, and it's just been a great bike to learn on, and I dropped it this weekend. So kind of
Nice.
smiling. But it's not too bad. It's been a great platform to really learn on, and kind of I was able to customize it myself. It's kind of in more of like a cafe style now. And I've learned a lot about motors and motorcycling because of that motorcycle, and it's really provided me a lot of cool opportunities within the specific Moto Guzzi world and antique or vintage motorcycle community too.
So if it wasn't that bike and you could choose any other bike, what's the next on your bucket list? I mean, what's the ultimate bike for Max?
Maybe down the road I hit the jackpot and I get really lucky. Probably an MV Agusta 750S.
Of course.
Far down the road.
I knew that was coming without him even getting started. Yeah, of course.
Red, white, and blue one. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I got it saved on my phone.
It's funny, you ask a Moto Guzzi guy and what's his dream bike, he's always going to tell you it's an MV Agusta.
Not always, but for me.
Heck yeah.
Oh, you can't see it.
You gonna try and show us the picture?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work, but it's beautiful.
Now, is that the 4-cylinder?
I think that one is, yeah. Or no, that's 3-cylinder.
6-cylinder, right?
No, not 6.
4.
I believe it is, yeah. 3 or 4.
I had a friend who had one of those.
Yeah. They're really special looking and riding.
Cool. So I want to ask the three of them something. You guys may have told us your ages, but let's start with Jake. Jake, you're how old?
21. 22 in December this year.
Connor?
28.
And Max?
I turned 22 in April.
All right. Excellent.
I'm the old man with the beard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what are you doing in this crowd? You're too old. What do you guys see from your social network? And I don't mean social media, but your social network, people you know. Do you have friends who are interested? Because your generation doesn't seem to be embracing the motorcycling world as much. We kind of know how you guys got interested in it, but what do you tell do you have friends who ask you, why do you ride motorcycles? And basically, I'm going to leave it at that. Just maybe give us a little bit. Jake, let's start with you.
That's a great question.
Yeah. So actually, it's kind of funny. A couple of my friends just joking around, but just that it is kind of rare. I've been called the crazy motorcycle man of like my close friends and stuff sometimes, I feel like mainly people my generation, my age are mainly into, sport bikes. A lot of the, going real fast and stuff. But I've actually, unbeknown, there was a lot of my friends have actually been watching some of these live, broadcasts and stuff. And so there's definitely an interest there. I just don't know, it's gotta be a strange thing for people to get into.
Do you have a group of guys that you ride with, like the sport bike guys? Do you still ride with those guys, or?
Yeah, I've got a couple of buddies here at school. We're just a really, we're a Island of Misfits kind of group. We got a couple guys who ride like the KTMs, a couple guys that ride the on-street off-road dirt bikes, a couple Sportsters, so really just what it is young kids, whatever they can afford, whatever two wheels.
So the interest you're seeing, there is interest in your generation.
Oh yeah, there's definitely still that love for just getting out there and on two wheels. But
and let me ask Max, because you guys are about the same age. Let me ask Max the same question. What's your response to that?
It's tricky. I'm gonna echo Jake and say that a lot of people are into the the crotch rockets, like they call them. I find myself drifting down there every now and then, but I have to stop myself because I'll probably kill myself. I don't want to do that. I think a lot of it too is an easy, gateway into motorcycling for me was vintage motorcycles. Sometimes they're a little bit more affordable, sometimes not. But my Moto Guzzi wasn't too much compared to a bike that would cost new from a dealership. And I think it's tricky for people to get into motorcycling for the affordability, but also people don't recognize the outlet that antique and vintage motorcycles can offer. I think that's probably it. You see a lot of modern motorcycles on the road. You don't see as many older motorcycles. And I think if people were aware of the opportunities that older motorcycles could offer, there'd be a lot more people interested in it. When people see my bike, like, wow, what is that? And it's a 75 Moto Guzzi. Like, wow, that's cool. How'd you find that? It's tricky for people to get into older motorcycling, but I think if they were able to, there'd be more interest in it in the younger generation.
Well, it always has been. I'll touch on that later. Connor, you're a little bit older. You probably have a more established group of people you ride with, but maybe you could answer the same question as to what do you think either the apprehension is or the impression that people have about it in your generation?
Yeah, well, your question reminds me of the old joke you see that goes around online and says people our age, young guys don't like to ride motorcycles because you have to pull your pants up above your knees,
And you're still wearing those pants?
Yeah.
I had to throw it right back at you.
Oh, boom. No, so it's definitely true. I as you said, I have a group of people that I ride with. I'm from Boston originally, and all my friends out there are motorcycle friends, and they all like to get into the ultimate thing is to have a Harley bagger and stuff like that. And I used to have one of those, and I moved away from that when I moved out here. And I've kind of become the guy that's the youngest guy and the oldest bike. And the picture you're showing right there is actually from an event at one of my sponsors, Indian Motorcycles of San Diego. That's the new 2022 Chief next to the 1945 Chief that I'll be riding. And it's kind of cool to see the similarities between the two, similar color and all that. So that's pretty cool.
Jason, indulge me one more question here, actually more of a statement. Okay, so when I was 18 and I'm 7 years old, it was the same thing. And we've been hearing this for years and years. The younger generation doesn't want to get involved. And in the Antique Motorcycle Club, when I came in, you could buy knuckleheads and panheads for $1,200 to $1,500. And you wouldn't buy the knucklehead because you buy a panhead and you put shovel heads on it. But that's what was going on at that time, right? I mean, so I started out with a 66 XLCH Sportster that I built myself. Now, this was 1976. I was 18 and 16 years old, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I built it out of parts, and that was the way in. And so I always aspired to have a more antique bike, but that's just the nature of the game. And a lot of my friends who rode the crotch rockets, the Japanese bikes, the whatever, eventually came around to Harleys. It's always been that way, or they came around to embracing antiques. So I would say that things really haven't changed. And that's my little dissertation on that. I think we're always going to be a cross segment of the bigger market, but people's tastes change, their rides change, and their pocketbooks change. So you guys are lucky that you're on antique bikes. It's kind of nice, and it's nice that you embraced it at an early age. So kudos to you.
Heck yeah. Hey, how about since all this has gone down, have any three guys actually connected with each other? Has there been any conversation in between the three of you?
Connor and I text pretty frequently, back and forth about unrelated motorcycle stuff and motorcycle and chase related things, which has been pretty great.
Yeah, some of the stuff we were talking about was to kind of compare lists of the things that we need to bring, spare tubes, air pump, things like that, patch kits. So make sure we have it all.
Yeah, I've kind of just been, I've been pretty busy out here just trying to get up all the money and stuff for it. But no, I definitely plan on joining these guys and start talking with these guys more.
So where I'm trying to go is like talking with each other is, I think everybody out there wants to know, like, have you guys started talking any smack yet? Like, dude, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to do better than you.
Well, there's no real reason to, because we all know that Indians are better than everything else. So,
so that's where I wanted to go. Like Harley versus Indian versus Falcone.
I'm like a one-man team in this chase, just being the only Moto Guzzi. Connor's got a lot of support behind him, so if he breaks down, somebody else can fix it. I got to do it all myself on the Guzzi.
It's okay. I'll fix your bike for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think it'll be like a weird remix of that show, the Harley and the Davidsons that they had going on there.
Yeah.
The Harley, Davidson, and Falcones and the Indians.
Yep.
The great match.
We should put money on it.
Hey, I know. I'm super excited to see how it goes down.
Oh yeah,
it's great just to get some younger blood into this game and really kind of embrace some of this stuff and get to see it on the rides, and hopefully you guys will bring your kind of sense of I don't even know what word I'm trying to find, just kind of like this younger, fresher thing to some of these older guys. I hope you actually talk smack to some of these older guys and just say, hey, you know what, better watch out, I'm coming after you. Just get some of these guys. It's some of this revolution that I've been seeing lately, which has been fun to see, is we seen it here at the last road run, was getting some of these younger chopper dudes involved and hanging out with some of these younger guys. And these guys are out in the parking lot partying like they used to when they were at that age. And I think it's kind of refreshing for all of us to be able to hang out with people of different ages and really kind of experience what everybody does.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed having all the older people there with more experience, and we could all work together to fix a couple of bikes. There was a VL there that needed a little bit of work, and between a bunch of us, we were able to get it running again. And turns out it had transmission issues, so we couldn't fix that. And some of the older Harley guys joked that, oh, what are those Indian guys good for? They couldn't even fix your transmission.
You got those guys. It's hard for me because I like them all. So
can you imagine a wise ass who's in motorcycling? I can't imagine anybody being a wise ass.
Oh no, never.
No sarcasm whatsoever in this group.
So, well, I hope out of this experience that you three guys actually become pretty good friends out of it, and we'll have a relationship, for 30, 40 years in the future. And you can always look back and be like, hey, you know what? This one event brought us together, and and a lifelong relationship happens out of it, and I think it will, because out of most of these events, most people become your family, and I'm sure that not just you three, but a whole bunch of other people will probably really latch on to you guys. I mean, you guys all have great personalities, and I don't see anybody not taking a liking to you.
Yeah, the under 30 club, the three. Hopefully there'll be more.
I remember when I was back in that club at one time.
That's a long time ago, though. I'm surprised you can remember it.
Not that long ago. Hey, so anyway, we're getting low on time here. Before we go, let's talk about where people can find you, where they can follow you. I'm sure you guys, being young, will post a bunch of stuff out on the social media. Let's talk about where we can find you guys at.
Yeah,
because you're at the top.
All right. So I've got Instagram. I'm not a huge social media person, but I like Instagram. And you can find me on Instagram. Max_Lynch. That's me right there. Me and my girlfriend Morgan. We make up a lot of that the feed on there. But you can see there's a highlight section in the red that says the chase. And everything I post on there, I throw it under that folder. So you can kind of keep up with me and see all the things I'm doing. That was earlier, and yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, very cool.
Very organized. Nice.
I learned something new today. You could actually do something like that.
You can.
I like it.
That's a nice setup you got there, Max. Very good.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
Connor,
you.
what's happening with you?
So I'm Wigwam_motors on Instagram. That's the best way to reach me. I'm easy to reach, and I'm always on there. You can see the jersey I'm wearing. That's right there. Everything is on there. Give me a follow.
Hey, you actually got a chance to win a bike on your page right now, too.
Yeah, I have this 1950 Panhead that I went through completely, and I brought it down to the El Diablo run a few months ago, and I won the Kickstart race on it. So I'm selling it to fix my truck that got destroyed a month ago, and also to fund my other projects.
There you go. All right, Jake.
Yeah, so I, actually in the past year, I've kind of haven't really been using much of the social media. I've been really busy just on traveling and building crap, but I will be on Facebook. Jake Smallwood, just spell out of my name is where I'll start up posting everything really this weekend when we go and get that bike. That's going to be kind of the beginning of where I start throwing everything on there. And, actually now after seeing how, we did the Instagram thing with Max, I'll throw it on Facebook so everybody can follow along and stuff, but I might do that. I might do the highlights on Instagram. I think that's a very nice organized way to do it. But other than that, yeah, you can just keep an eye out for that Facebook. I'll be throwing some stuff on there.
I got a quick question for Jake. I saw a picture of your mom on there. You want to give a shout out?
Yeah. I'm sure, I'd be surprised if she wasn't watching, but Gina Woods, actually with Open Road Radio, that's my mom. So if you're watching, hey mom, how's it going? And I'm sure you'll see her on my page too. She'll probably be posting more stuff than all three of us combined. So
there was a rumor that she might be tagging along. Can you confirm or deny that rumor?
That's all it is to me. I've actually you know more than I do, but
well,
I know she's good with surprises and pulling strings, so I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Well, I'm sure Jason has that information, but he may not be at liberty to share it.
I'm all about secrets.
It's of the Ozark. That could be one of the secrets of the Ozark.
There you go, Gina Woods. Secret number, however.
All right.
One last comment from each of you, and then we got to get out of here. Let's parting shot from Jake. What do you got to say to get out of here?
Well, again, I really appreciate the opportunity here. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm kind of, I'm not hoping anything bad happens, but I hope it doesn't all go as planned, as bad as that could be to say, because that's cool stuff happens. That's when you really make friends. That's when you figure shit out. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all of it.
Nice. That's what memories are made of. Very good.
All right, Max, you're on the spot.
I'm going to echo Jake and just thank everybody that provided me the opportunity to do this. I can't thank them enough. And also, it's Moto Guzzi's 100th anniversary. Being a Moto Guzzi fan, owner, and the only Moto Guzzi rider in the chase, I'm feeling pretty lucky.
Oh. Ooh. All right, Connor.
I want to say thank you to everybody that donated, and thank you to my sponsors, Indian Motorcycle of San Diego and Kiwi Mike over there. Thank you for everything you guys have done for me, and it must be easy to do because we all know Indians are better than Harleys.
Well, listen.
Cool. All right.
You're all fine young men, and it's an honor for me to get the opportunity to talk to all three of you and keep the faith and keep the sport alive. and I'm glad you guys are on board.
Heck
Excited to
yeah,
be here.
heck yeah.
Yeah, thank you for
I'm
having us.
excited to get to see you all here in just a couple weeks. Hopefully your final preparations will be all intact and very good. Hopefully you packed what you need to pack. And yeah, so that's really all I got. I'm excited. I'm glad that you guys came out. Thanks again.
One more thing. Connor,
All right.
the only good Indian, and I'll just leave it right there.
Are you even going to let him defend?
Whatever. Good luck, fellas.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks.
All righty.
So how cool was that?
That was really cool. Those are three very fine young men right there.
Oh,
my hats
definitely.
off to them, and so glad that the three guys, they're all kind of humble too. It's just nice that they won this position and they're being very humble about it. It's nice,
Right.
refreshing.
And I like that little hint of sarcasm here and there, and that little jabbing. And
Well, that just shows that they're bikers, they're motorcyclists, man. That's
exactly. They'll fit in just fine.
I mean, I never bust your chops, right?
No, never.
Never. Hey, did I hear that you're doing live broadcasts every day from the chase?
We are, yeah. So
tell us about that.
Super cool. So we have partnered with Source Media, the people that help us out with this show. They are coming along for the ride. They're going to do the chase with us.
Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen?
So they are bringing the mobile production studio to the chase, which means that we'll be doing live broadcasts every day. Some produced stuff like this. We'll actually be doing some of the raw live stuff that we've always done in the past. And we will be throwing more content than you probably care to see, but we don't care. We're going to just throw it at you, and hopefully you don't get in trouble at work for not being very productive and only watching us.
Fantastic. Chris Tribbey has chimed in. He says he's glad that he and Alex could help fund this, and thanks to Fred Wacker and Joe Walano too for jumping in on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Without those guys, this wasn't happening. So,
and you're going to try and keep it alive. I'm sorry, Jason.
Yeah, I think we all should. I mean, with those guys really coming on board, I think more of us should get on board, and not even for this event or not even for the Cannonball, but even the guys that are out there listening, take your neighbor, take your one of your friends' sons to a road run with you, take them to a swap meet. Let's try to get this generation involved more into this antique motorcycle hobby, and
Absolutely. And it's been going for years. Like I said, they're always saying we don't have enough kids in this. And I just think it's, the whole sport of motorcycling is declined in participation, but I don't think it's the generation. I just think it's no pun intended, but it's a cycle, and we're in a down curve of it right now, but it'll come back. And the more you keep your kids or your grandkids or whatever involved, the more they'll have great memories of this stuff and stay involved.
Right. Even over the last year and a half, I've really been seeing kind of a little bit of a trend of some of the younger people getting into this. I've had some in-length conversations with one being Haggerty is, of kind of what their trends are. And they have great analytics to tell us of, who's getting into this stuff and what they're buying and all that kind of stuff. So I think we're kind of seeing a little bit of a turnaround right now, whether that had to do with COVID and the pandemic, or, people are just maybe tired of freaking Netflix. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm pretty hopeful. that this stuff will stay alive, and us just being the caretakers here for a little time, we'll find the next caretaker for our stuff.
So is there anything else you want to bring up? Because I just want to tell everybody, get out there and ride your motorcycles.
That's all I got.
All right.
Hey, we'll see you guys next week. I'll be on the road somewhere in the Ozarks. Tune in, same place, same channel, same everything. Again, thanks for everybody out there to support us.
Chris Callan has reminded me that we need to plug the Motorcycle Cannonball website and Retro Cycle for all your aftermarket and OEM parts for Harleys. Give us a call. We've got all the brands, drag specialties, custom chrome, etc. And you can reach us at retrocycle.com. And let's not forget that Sunday night is Shop Talk, and Tuesday nights we have Coast to Coast with Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter.
And tomorrow night, Torque, right?
And tomorrow night, Torque. Thank you, sir. Chris Callan, tell us who's going to be on your show on Sunday. I think you have a good lineup there, from what I understand.
It's actually going to be really cool, man. We're going to have two different types of racing represented. So Ronster from Milwaukee is coming on. Not so much in the racing capacity. He's going to be talking about the Shovelhead reunion and the vintage drag races that are going on in Iowa in July. We're actually going to have them on to talk about that event. Brother Barry Wardlaw hooked me up with those folks.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
And do you know who's on with John and Jason tomorrow night?
Rob Bidos is one of the guests, but I know they have two, and you're making me look bad as an engineer now because
you have your hands full. I know you're using your toes and your fingers and your nose and everything to keep this show going.
But that they have Rob Bidos on, and the BRL race is coming fast. We're a couple weeks out from the BRL race, and they're hunkering down to get ready to go racing in Utah.
For those of you,
Cole Freeman, I just got my production assistant / boss.
I heard the yelling in the background. Yep. You're in trouble, pal.
Thank you guys for the plug for that.
So, that's for people who don't know what BRL is, because we got I think a more of an antique audience. That's the Bagger Racing League, and it's really I've learned a lot about it by watching Torque. It's really come a long way. That these are very high performance baggers. They have a minimum weight limit. And if you want to learn more about what these are, and I encourage you to, because it's very interesting stuff, these are not your everyday baggers. This is like the NASCAR of baggers. It's very cool. So watch Torque tomorrow night, 9:00 Eastern, right here on the Source Media Network.
You can find it all right here.
There you go.
Hey, we'll see you guys next week.
Have fun, everybody. Thanks for watching.